Diddy Combs has been ordered to remain in custody without bail following charges of physical harassment trafficking. The decision came after a nearly 2-hour hearing where Manhattan Federal Magistrate Judge Robin Tarnofsky heard arguments from both the prosecution and Combs' defense regarding his pretrial detention. The U.S. Attorney's Office argued that Combs poses a danger to the public and could potentially influence witnesses. Combs, who pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy and physical harassment trafficking charges, had his defense offer a $50 million bond with conditions including home detention and GPS monitoring. However, Judge Tarnofsky sided with the prosecution, ruling that Combs should be detained. The next hearing is scheduled for September 24. During the court proceedings, Combs was seen wearing a black t-shirt and gray workout pants, appearing visibly shocked as he was led out without handcuffs. The courtroom was closed to cameras, and Combs only briefly stated "not guilty" in response to the charges. The prosecution, led by Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson, presented a case against Combs citing an extensive history of abuse and obstruction. Johnson alleged that Combs had physically abused victims for decades, using his resources to cover up his crimes and intimidate witnesses. She described him as a serial abuser, with a long history of obstructing justice. Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo, admitted that while Combs was not a perfect person and had a history of drug use and toxic relationships, he was undergoing treatment and therapy. Agnifilo argued for bail, emphasizing Combs' willingness to adhere to strict conditions including home detention. The charges against Combs follow a series of raids conducted earlier this year at his properties in Los Angeles and Miami. These raids came after sexual abuse lawsuits were filed against him, including a high-profile case by his ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, in November 2023. The indictment details a decade-long pattern of abuse where Combs allegedly coerced and threatened women to satisfy his sexual desires, with some victims subjected to drugged, prolonged sexual encounters referred to as freak-offs. The indictment claims that Combs and his victims sometimes required 4 fluids to recover from these sessions.